Welcome to Storytime with Miss Williams. Today we'll be reading the story titled A Party in Ramadan, written by Asma Mobin-Uddin, illustrated by Laura Jacobson. Laura twirled around in front of the kitchen table, breathless and excited as her mother pulled out an invitation from a large envelope. Mom, Julia is going to have a pony at the party and we get to ride it. Flecks of confetti fluttered out of the envelope onto the table. I never rode a pony before. Lena stopped twirling when she saw her mother's expression change. What's wrong, Mom? She asked. Lena, Mrs. Ahmed said gently, Julia's party is next Friday during spring break. This year it will be the first Friday in Ramadan. Ramadan? Lena looked into her mother's eyes. I'm going to fast that day, she said, but I can't miss the party. Her mother was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Lena, I know the party means a lot to you. Do you want to fast on a different day? That would be okay. You are still too young to fast every day. But Auntie Sana's coming on Friday. We are all going to have iftar dinner together after we break the fast. I don't want to give up fasting that day. Lena walked over to her mom. The party's in the afternoon. Can I just go and not eat or drink anything? I'll be home before iftar time. Her mother hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, thanks, Mom. Lena hugged her mother and then started twirling again. The day of the pony party finally arrived. In the entryway of Julia's house, Lena and her mother introduced themselves to Julia's mother, Mrs. Barnard. Lena's mother explained that because Lena was fasting, she would not be eating with the other girls. Oh, but we're not having a meal, Mrs. Barnard said. We're just having cake and punch. She can't eat or drink anything at all during the fast, said Lena's mother. Not even water. Not even water? Asked Mrs. Barnard. Her voice seemed very loud to Lena, who was embarrassed to think her friends might hear. Julia and some of her party guests came to see who had arrived. It's Lena! They cried. Julia, Amy, and Cindy ran and gave Lena a hug. Come and see the pony! Gratefully, Lena gave her mother a quick hug and headed down the hallway with her friends. Streamers and balloons decorated the kitchen. On the table, surrounded by pony plates and cups, was a large cake with chocolate icing. Through the kitchen window, Lena saw the pony. She and her friends ran out the door to join the others who were waiting for their turn to ride. When Lena's turn came, she sat high in the saddle and imagined she was a princess. She gently stroked the pony's neck, running her hand over his shiny, soft skin. After the pony rides, the girls played tag and laughed and chatted with each other in the warm sunshine. Racing around made them thirsty, and Lena's classmates decided to have some lemonade. Then Lena remembered that she was fasting. She didn't care about missing the lemonade. She was having a lot of fun at the party. It was easy to be here and fast at the same time. Her mom had been worried for nothing. While the girls were having lemonade, Lena decided to swing. She pumped her legs and sailed high in the air. She closed her eyes and imagined she was flying as wind rushed across her, lifting the edges of her hijab. As the swing slowed down, Lena realized she was thirsty. Cold lemonade began to sound good. Lena thought about how refreshingly tart and sweet lemonade tasted, and how she liked to let ice cubes from the drink melt in her mouth. She decided to ask Mom for lemonade at iftar time. After playing tag and swinging so high, Lena was also starting to feel tired. as the girls were going into the house. Lena gladly got off the swing and joined them. The cool air inside felt good. Mrs. Barnard called the girls to the kitchen for cake. Amy stood by Lena's side. I'll stay with you. I'm not hungry anyway. Lena smiled at her friend. Thanks, Amy, but I'm fine. Go and eat, and then we'll sit together. Don't miss the chocolate cake. Amy paused. Are you sure? She asked. Yes, I'm sure, said Lena. But Lena was not so sure. I'll see you in a little while. While the other girls were eating, Lena walked into another room. She sat down on the edge of a couch. Her stomach growled, and there was a big emptiness in it. Her head was starting to hurt. She felt tired. Why did God have to make it so hard? She wondered. And why did I have to run so much in the hot sun? The back of her throat felt dry. Lena longed for a simple sip of water. Being at a party was not fun anymore. She just wanted to go home. Would 5 o'clock ever come? Lena lay her head against the armrest. She slipped off her shoes, drew her legs up beside her, and closed her eyes. Soon she was asleep. Lena barely realized when her mom arrived, helped her into the car, and drove her home. When Lena opened her eyes, she was on her own couch in her family room at home. She heard Auntie Sana's voice in the kitchen and her mother's laughter. Light from the kitchen spilled into the family room. She smelled the aroma of baking bread and dinner cooking on the stove. Lena's father sat down beside her as she sat up and blinked to clear the sleep from her eyes. How's my fasting girl? He asked as he hugged her. She felt safe in his warm embrace. I'm fine, Daddy. I feel a lot better after sleeping. Lena's head did not hurt anymore, and she was not as tired. The first few days of Ramadan are usually the hardest as your body gets used to the new schedule, he said. I heard you had a rough day. I'm proud of you for hanging in there. It's not easy sometimes, but God knows when you are trying hard to please Him. Is it iftar time yet? Lena asked. Almost. Would you like to help me open the dates? Sure. Lena felt even better as she walked into the kitchen with her father. Her mother was stirring food in pots, and Auntie Sana was cutting fruit. They hugged Lena and told her how proud they were of her. The hugs made Lena feel warm and cozy. The family shared stories as they prepared dinner in the kitchen. Lena's younger sister, Amira, ate dry cereal in the high chair. Lena helped Daddy put dates on a plate and pour water into glasses. Her difficulties at the party seemed as if they had happened a long time ago. Finally, the time came to break the fast. Lena said the traditional prayer to herself in Arabic as she reached for a date. God, I fasted for your sake. I break my fast with food provided by you in your name. The sweetness of the date filled her mouth. It was followed by refreshing, cold, clear water. Then the family spread out sheets in the family room and prayed the Maghrib prayer together as they did every night just after sunset. After the prayer, it was time for dinner. Lena was thankful for everything she ate. The muffins melted in her mouth. The meat was delicious, and even broccoli tasted good. After finishing her dinner, Lena said, Please pass the baklava, Mom, and may I have some lemonade with it? I have a surprise for you, Lena, her mother said, pulling a packaged cup from the cabinet. There is 1 cup of your favorite chocolate pudding left. I saved it for you. Would you like to have it instead? I sure would, said Lena. Thanks, Mom. Cocoa pudding? Yelled Amira as she ran to the table. Honey, this is for Lena today, Mrs. Ahmed gently told the toddler. You can have a cookie. Amira, I was fasting today, Lena told her sister, and I didn't get to eat all day. Me too. I was fasting. I didn't eat pudding all day too, Amira said, looking at her sister. I don't have to share today, Lena thought. I fasted all day and I should get to eat whatever I want now. Lena put a spoonful of the pudding into her mouth and savored its thick chocolate flavor. She looked into her sister's face. She remembered how she had felt at the party when she really wanted to eat chocolate icing on Julia's cake and couldn't. Lena took a second spoonful of pudding. Then she slid the cup in front of her to her sister. Here you go, Amira. You can have the rest. Mom smiled, and Auntie Sana reached over and patted Lena on the shoulder. As the family began eating dessert, the doorbell rang. It was Julia and her family and Amy and her mom. They were carrying chocolate cake from the party. Hello, Mrs. Ahmed, said Mrs. Barnard. We thought Lena might like some cake. We saved some for her. How kind of you. Please join us for dinner, said Lena's mom, warmly inviting the guests to the table. Lena ran to greet them and introduced everyone. Her mom brought plates for the guests, and everyone began to talk and eat. Afterward, as the girls ate chocolate cake, their parents sampled baklava and fruit pudding. Lena thought about how hard the late afternoon had been. She remembered how wonderful dinner had tasted in the evening. Fasting had made her appreciate and feel thankful for her blessings. Fasting also made her want to share what she had. In the warmth of the kitchen, with family and friends, Lena happily finished her piece of cake. Thanks for watching. Follow for more.